Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. I'm Madison, and today I have a bunch of plant chores to do, so I thought we would do them together. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I want to repot a few plants and chop up a few plants. So the first thing I need to do is grab this little guy. All of the other plants are upstairs, and that's where we'll be doing all of these chores. Okay, so this is my amidrium medium, and it's got a new leaf here, and it looks like it's already poked out a runner node, which is kind of unfortunate, so I need to get it up onto a pole really soon, so we're gonna do that today. And yeah, all the other plants are upstairs, so let's head up there and grab them. We are upstairs. I brought my little guy up here, the amidrium medium, and I also decided to bring up the amidrium zippolenium because it hasn't put off a new leaf or looked like it's really gonna put off a new leaf since it put off this little guy here. So yeah, I just feel like he's probably ready for some actual soil. Because it looks pretty root bound in here. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that, but there are definitely some roots up in there. So we're going to give him the pot that this guy was sitting in. I'm also going to give him some sort of little, oh yeah, I got this guy, a little plank of wood so that he can also have something to be growing onto so that we don't have like an immediate runner like we did on this one, because that kind of sucks, you know? Like, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's not the best. So we're gonna do that. I also have on my list, I have like an actual list here. Again, I don't know if you're gonna be able to read that. I have that on my list. I want to chop up this big old purple heart down here. This guy, he's just not looking great. He has like some zebrina or something in him as well. I'm just sick of it, and I'm gonna cut it all up and I don't know, stick them in water or something and then just give them to coworkers because I'm just sick of this plant, frankly. It's a beautiful plant, but it needs to have really good light in order to get that deep purple coloring. And even still, if you miss out on a watering, it's gonna get crispy leaves and it's gonna look kind of bald and weird at the top. So it's not my favorite plant. I love it, but it's time for it to go. So we're gonna chop him up totally, and I'll be able to free up that pot, which is gonna be lovely. Also have 2 cebu blue pothos that I want to put together and like re-plank. And then I want to chop up this guy here. I don't know if you can see him. Yeah, this red emerald. He's just getting a little lanky. He's way above the top of the plank here. So I want to chop them up, stick them in water, and root them so I can put them all in the pot together for one nice big full pot. I want to repot this pink dragon alocasia because can you see those roots down there? We've got some major roots down there. So let's go ahead and take care of this little guy first, our amidrium medium, because I feel like it will be the easiest, or one of the, well, I guess the easiest is just gonna be chopping up that purple heart, but this is gonna be the most rewarding. So let's get this going real quick. I've got, oh, what once was a node, it looks like. All right. Oh my gosh, and I can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there's like a bunch of roots at the top of the soil here. So I guess this guy was definitely ready. Oh, wow. I have down below over here, you're not gonna be able to see, but I've got like a big old tub filled with some soil, but look at those roots. Those are beautiful. So definitely time for a repot. Definitely, like wowza. I'm just kind of loosening this up a little bit and letting it kind of fall down. Got some moss at the top, it looks like, from when I propagated it. So we've got some aerial roots here. I'm just pulling off these like old sheaths so that I can have better access to those aerial roots. I'm gonna try and pull out some of this moss. Can you see how like nice and white some of those roots are? Some of them are kind of green with some algae, but you know, no harm, no foul, that's for sure. Wow, there's a lot of root in here and a lot of moss in here. I did not do a very good job. I just kind of like put the soil around the moss, which I really don't recommend, to be honest with you. I feel like you could kind of invite rot in that way. So when I repot that zippolenium, I'm definitely gonna try and get off as much of the soil as possible, or excuse me, as much of the moss as possible before we put it into the soil. I think this is as good as we're gonna get this guy, but those roots look awesome. I just like to kind of set it in there after I get a little bit at the bottom of the pot just to make sure that it's not too high or too low. And then I'm gonna shove this, I was gonna say it's a moss pole, but I think it's like a coco coir pole or something like that. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it like this and kind of hold it where I'm gonna want it to go and just shovel some more substrate in there. We've got our little pole and amidrium set up here. So this guy definitely needs some water and that will help him stabilize. But here we have the amidrium medium all repotted. Right along here I have the node secured, and then I also secured it down below as well along the wood. I'm just gonna put him right back in the cabinet where we got him out of. So now real quick, since we're here and since I freed up this pot, I'm gonna go ahead and repot this amidrium zippolenium. I may have even said that right. I'm just trying to get this moss off of here. Look at all of those roots. Those look beautiful. I hope that's focusing for you, but they look lovely. And as you can see what I'm talking about there, there's like two kind of main roots that this guy was growing off of. So like I said before, I am gonna have the little plank of wood in here with this so that it can just be pressed up right against it. And from the looks of it, the aerial root is sticking out right here. Oh, there's another one over there. I think I'm gonna have it so that the node is kind of like pressed up against the wood like that. So I'm not packing the soil in there too crazy tight. I do want to let those roots still be able to breathe a little bit. And then when I go around and water these after, they will, it'll settle the soil in there quite a bit. But look at how cute that looks on there. And I think I am just going to go ahead and put a piece of plant Velcro so that way it is already learning, hopefully, to attach itself to the wood. The tips of this like newest leaf look a little bit yellow. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on there. It looks a little bit yellow. So hopefully it's doing okay. We can check something off of our list. Repot amidrium medium and use the pole. We kind of got a twofer out of that because not only do we repot the medium, but we repotted the zip. So let me set that out of the way. Let's do what's gonna be the easiest one first because I just want to get this out of my way. Honestly, I'm sick of looking at it. I have some trimmers here. These are dirty because frankly, I don't really care. I think it's gonna be fine either way. I'm just gonna start cutting from the base. We're gonna see what we end up with. And yeah, and then I'm gonna have a freed up pot, which is gonna be awesome. Okay, so we've got one right here, giving it the snip. Okay, so now again, you can see what I'm talking about with this kind of plant. I feel like this is like all Tridescantia or inch plants or whatever, but it's like all barren right here, and then we have some leaves at the bottom. So like, what the heck? All right, I'm just gonna keep chopping and like laying them off to the side here. Ugh, it was a juicy cut. It like jumped out at me. All right, guys. So I've come to a realization that none of these cuttings are very pretty. And I would like feel bad even giving these away for free to someone that I work with. So I'm just gonna toss them in the trash. This whole situation's going in the trash, except for the pot. I will keep the pot. I'll keep the soil too, honestly. I'm just gonna like shake all the roots and everything out of it. But the rest of the plant, it's gonna go in the trash. It just really doesn't bring me any sort of joy anymore. And it's really just like work. And every time I look at it, it was just like, oh my gosh, I need to do something with it again, because once again, it's all scraggly and sad looking at the top. So, you know, let this be hopefully maybe a little lesson that like, if a plant is just really not agreeing with you, it's okay to just get rid of it. You don't have to sell it or give it away or do anything else with it. that you don't want to. If it's just too much of a hassle, it's its time. It's absolutely fine. I have a bunch of other propagations from this plant, so it's not like I'm just like totally giving up on the plant altogether. I do still have some little bits and pieces of it. I'm probably gonna give those away though. But you know, it's not to say that you have to do the same with any of your plants, just what I'm choosing to do today with this bad boy. But we do have a bunch of other plants that we are not gonna do this to, and we're just gonna give them better homes. But this guy, we're saying goodbye. Goodbye. You're out of here. Next up here, ooh, we're whacking on a plant on up top here. You can't see that, but it's whacking. So this is my philodendron red emerald. And as you can see, it's gotten really like kind of lanky and just very, very tall. The internodal spacing is very large. Yeah, very large. There's like a huge gap there. So, and like down here towards the base of the plant, the internodal, yeah, right? Internodal spacing is much more tight. And that's how I would like it to be. I'm gonna wipe off these clippers a little bit on my pants, but that's okay. And I'm just gonna chop this guy up. Luckily, the very top node, oh, I guess it was working on a leaf here, but it just finished pushing out this leaf. It does grow pretty consistently, so I do feel like it should propagate pretty easily, and it's a philodendron, so philodendron usually propagate pretty well. But yeah, this red emerald is not one of those philodendron that, at least for me, has like had issues getting stuck coming out of the sheath or anything like that, like your pink princess or I don't know, stuff of that sort. Do or does, what am I trying to say? The leaves don't get stuck coming out of the sheath, and they don't like rip and tear and get all weird and squiggly. They come out really, really nice. But yeah, I think it's definitely time to give this guy the chop. This type of philodendron does seem to really bleed a lot, so you want to kind of watch out for that. I definitely wouldn't let like any pets near while you're doing this process, because it is a very ooey gooey process, and I don't know if this is safe for pets. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume it's not. But look how beautiful. So yeah, I'm just gonna take a bunch of cuttings. I'm gonna leave a little bit at the ends here, or I left like almost exactly the same amount at the for both of these. And then after these callus over, I don't know, in like a couple hours or something like that, I'm just gonna chuck them into some cups of water, stick them in the window where they've already kind of been, and then wait for them to really start growing roots. And as you can see, hopefully you can see here, we've already got some really good aerial roots coming out here, and even on this very top one. So hopefully it will continue to root up really well. I'm just gonna chop the rest of these guys down. That leaf is so pretty. Release it from all of its plant Velcro here. I do like to usually pull these sheaths off as well when I'm propagating, especially if I'm putting it in water. I mean, really, if I'm putting it in anything, water, moss, whatever, I like to pull the sheath off of there just so that it's one less thing that can rot on the plant. Oh, and this leaf got snagged when I was moving it, so it's got a sad tear, but it was such a lovely shape, so I kept it on there. I guess I'll stop chopping here since it is kind of, you know, where that internodal spacing starts to get pretty tight. This is like one of these smaller leaves on the plant, but yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. And look at how cute the plant looks. Just like that. It's so pretty. And the backs of the leaves are just beautiful. Again, this is the philodendron red emerald, or Ariobescens red emerald, but oh, it's got so many extra floral nectaries on the backs of some of these leaves here. It almost looks like it was fighting off a pest, but I check this plant all the time and I've not seen, there's dog hair, but no pests. So yeah, I'm not really sure why. It looks like just this leaf in particular has so much of the extra floral nectaries on the back. Like, it feels gross on my hand. I'm probably just gonna wash this whole thing off with some soapy water and a microfiber cloth after this, just to kind of get that all cleaned up just in case there is some sort of pest. I'm gonna let all of these cuttings callus over, and then I'll just put them in some water. We got 6 cuttings from that, by the way, so that's awesome. So we can cross off actually 2 more items on our list. We chopped up that purple heart and we chopped up the red emerald. So we've got a bunch of stuff crossed off on there. I did also have to water the upstairs plants and the downstairs plants, but I don't think I'm gonna have time to do that today. I do have a friend coming over for some gin and juice later, so I'm just gonna do as much of this as I can before she heads over. So I think we will have just enough time to repot the pink dragon alocasia and combine the cebu blue. So let's go ahead and repot the alocasia, and we'll save the cebu blues for last because it's like the largest project of them all. So there was something else I saw that had a bunch of roots. Whatever. All right, so this is the pink dragon once again. Pretty nice size leaves. Well, I guess this leaf is pretty small. Here's a little like head test. Pretty small. I guess it's still the size of my face almost, but this leaf, hello, that's a really good size. So let's go ahead and repot this guy. Oh, it's got like some weird plastic on the bottom, but look at those like really fibrous roots, and then that one really chunky guy. It's so cute. And I wonder if I'll be able to really show this to you, but there's a ton of like little growth things coming off the base of the plant, or like the bottom part of the stem. I'm trying to peel off some of this like old sheath stuff so you can see it a little bit better. But it almost looks like there's a ton of like baby plants that are trying to grow off of the base. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to see all of these little guys. Like this guy right here, that definitely looks like a little corm that's starting to grow. So I wonder if that's like what all of these other little dots are going to grow into. Okay, so I'm going to carefully take this out of the pot and try to not damage any of those little nubbins or the new growth point. So, okay, you know, I actually feel like it doesn't really need a repot yet. I think I'm just gonna put it back. That was anticlimactic, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta kind of look at what the plant really needs, and I don't really think it needs a repot. I was thinking it did just because I was seeing some good roots come out of there, but overall it doesn't look that root bound like at all. So yeah, we're just gonna leave it in there. Well, maybe that was good that I did that. Maybe I just kind of helped aerate the soil a little bit or something. I don't know. Either way, it was cool to look at all those little nubbins. So it wasn't for nothing. I guess I can technically cross that off. It didn't like need to be done, but we'll just cross her off anyway. Let's see. So this is the first cebu blue. Already was attached to a plank, is very well attached onto there still, but it clearly outgrew the plank and it's like twice as long as it now. And then let me grab this other guy. Okay, so here is my other cebu blue. This one doesn't look quite as full up top, I feel like, because I have chopped and propped this plant quite a few times and just like put them back in the pot, which is honestly really rare for me to actually put them back in the pot, so that was really cool. But this guy is very long as well, so hopefully you can see all that there. Pretty large plant. We are gonna pot these two combined in the pot that we used for the purple heart. Let's do that. I'm gonna go ahead and empty out that purple heart situation really quick so that it is freed up for us to use. I've gone ahead and emptied this thing out. It's a little bit dirty. I didn't like fully clean it out on the inside because it was fairly moist soil. I'm gonna go ahead and start by taking off the hangers of this plant so that I can kind of loosen it up a little bit. And I don't think I mentioned, I think I want my plan for this whole situation to have like, you know, some up and some down, you know, like that hairdo, if you know what I'm talking about. So I want to have some of the plant trailing and some of the plant climbing. I do have a plank. It is significantly larger than the old one. It's like almost twice the size or twice as tall. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of loosen this pot up a little bit. I just kind of squeezing it. Oh, looks like I have some dead leaves here at the base of the plant. That is all right. This plant grows like a weed, I'm telling you. We definitely have some good roots happening there. And then for this guy, oh, I have a chip clip on the back of this. So sad to have to like tear off of here. I don't know if you can tell, but he's on here. So I'm gonna have to like pull him off. I'm so sorry. This is heartbreaking. I feel so bad. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Man, okay. Ooh. You see all the residue left along the plank from the sad roots. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Here's what the bottom of your wood planks will look like after a while. It's been in here for, I don't know actually, maybe like a year or so, maybe a little longer. Oh no. I was just thinking, I wonder if there's water in the tray of this pot. There is. It just spilled all over my foot. Okay. Well, it wouldn't be a true plant choresy repotty video without some sort of gross watery mess. So let me try and detach this from the base tray. Oh, wow. Do you see this one long ass root just like going crazy down here? That's so funny. It's literally just that one root. It does have some good roots down there. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there are definitely some roots there. I'm trying to kind of figure out where in the pot I want this first like plant to be situated, because it was like, you know, this kind of like growing up and facing this way. But then I've also got the other one that I could situate like this. I think that's how I'll do it. So it'll look kind of like that-ish from the front. Oh, but I need to wiggle in my plank. I always forget about that. Okay. So I've got the plank somewhat in there. Got the plants kind of situated in there. All right, I'm gonna need to set this guy down and backfill it. We've got this guy fully potted in the pot. I had just enough like dirt and soil and everything to make this guy work. So now what I'm gonna do is slowly just start kind of working this way up the plank here. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this. I'm just going to pick some of the like kind of shorter strands, I guess, and kind of start winding them up here. I've armed my plank with a few pieces of Velcro already, just to make it a little bit easier for myself to just like undo it and redo it. So let me try and just grab one here, I guess. And I am gonna have it go around the plank, I think. I think that's just gonna be easier. And I am trying to like wrap it in a direction so that it looks as though the aerial roots will be hopefully like aimed at the plank. We've got the first one up here. I'm gonna speed through this for you so you can just kind of see how I do this. know how well you can see me here, but it's the next day. My camera died yesterday in the process of doing this, and then I had a friend come over for a couple of drinks. So it's the next day. Here we have our Cebu blue. I'm gonna grab you here so I can really show ya. And there she is. It is still trailing down pretty far there, but where I'm gonna have it set is gonna be a little bit higher up than this is. So I'm hoping that it will be okay. Let's see if I can focus. Look at how cute that little leaf is. So I'm really excited for this guy to take a hold of the plank and hopefully push out some bigger, better leaves and maybe even some fenestrated leaves, because that would be so cool. And then if I scoot you down here, you can see I've got the red emerald cuttings in water. Now, as you can see, this is too shallow of a cup. That is too good. Yeah, as you can see, it's in too shallow of a cup as is right now, but it's just what I'm working with upstairs right now. So I think I might have to like run and grab a different one from the store. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to use like a regular like drinking cup or like glass, which isn't a big deal either because it's not like it's gonna be in there forever. But yeah, this will just kind of this will just kind of work for now. I'm not gonna touch it. I did leave them overnight to fully callus. I didn't come back in a couple hours like I was planning on doing, but honestly, that's kind of always how it goes. So that's okay. We've got all of our chores taken care of, I think. All right, we have officially finished everything that I thought we were gonna finish. Granted, it is the next day, but all I had to do was put those little cuttings in water. So, or I guess I kind of still do, but that'll just take a second. So all I have left on my list here is just to water plants upstairs and downstairs. That's gonna make this video way too long. So I will just do that another one with you guys. But yeah, I'm really pleased with everything that we got done here today. I was really wanting to get, especially this Cebu blue, done before my next surgery. However, we did have a dog vet mishap that was quite expensive, so I had to go ahead and postpone my next surgery for another couple of months. So that's actually going to be kind of nice. I'll be able to kind of get back in the actual groove of life before I have to go back and do for my go back for my next surgery. So not a huge deal, but and the dogs are all fine. So yeah, we're all doing well. Yeah, I think that is it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.